Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Monday Motivation. I'm your host, Daniel Krakowski, joined, as always, by Goran Vasevich.
What's going on, buddy?
And we have a real treat for you, looking fresh to death, Ryan Schroeder.
Danielson.
Thank you. Yeah, so that's actually the nickname that I got when I first started.
Danielson?
Danielson, yes.
Is it because the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off?
It is, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep,
Indeed.
exactly. And then I think most of it was actually a ploy for Ryan to get someone to call him Sensei. Because
It sure was.
yeah, like a month in, I'm like, Sensei, and he's like, finally.
True story.
It's still going on, though.
It is, yeah. So what we wanted to talk about, it's the first of the year. We're a week into it now. We've already started working. We set all of our goals in place, made our resolutions. The list is too long to go into detail, but
There is a huge list and evidence of that. Well, in Ryan's office, my office, the whole glass wall is full of, what's going to happen.
Looks like a scene out of Beautiful Mind.
it is, yeah.
Equations.
It's what's going to happen and all the steps that are going to get us there. But we're going to simplify it a little bit and just keep it back, because I know what holds back 98% of people who make New Year's resolutions. It's the immediate falling apart of the process that it takes to get you where you want to be. We see it all the time when, if you're someone who goes to the gym regularly, the influx of people around January 2nd through 14th and how it all returns back to normal around the 16th, 17th. Right? You've seen it, right?
Indeed.
So what we want to talk about is how to not get caught in that trap.
How to actually follow through with the New Year's resolution that you made while you were partying, drunk, or whatever, and actually follow through with it to make it a better, not a same year.
Yeah, exactly. If you first of all, if you were super hungover on New Year's Day, not a great start probably for getting cracking on your goals, but we'll give you a pass on that one.
No, I think for some reason, the first week right after New Year's, people slow down more so than they were like the year or the 2 weeks prior, because they're still like, I'm still getting into the groove, into the, whatever. And I'm just like, really? Come on, man. You gotta kick it up a notch. And it happened all this week. People are late, not showing up, or it's just like no sense of urgency. It was just gone.
Yeah, we've been really excited, and Ryan's super goal oriented and had everybody at our office put all their goals together and compile it. And we were all really enthusiastic, fired up to be here and doing a bunch of stuff, but I didn't really notice that from everybody else. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Well, I've already seen a bit of a drop-off in terms of the number of people I asked for their goals, to the number that submitted it, to the number that have agreed to meet with me to have a follow-up regarding their goals. So it's been on the decline, unfortunately. But I had actually written my goals for the year, met with Goran. He told me what his were, which were even more audacious than mine. So
10x.
I had to adjust them all up. But
What do you have to have a conversation that Ryan and I usually have about when we're meeting somebody, banking or whatnot, for me to tone down my goals? That's how you know they're very.
Here's how I preface Goran before we meet a banker. Okay, Goran, no talking about rockets or Lamborghinis. Those are forbidden.
Yeah, bankers love hearing about that type of stuff.
Rockets, Lamborghinis, and outer space.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a movie title.
All right, we got a pure conservative here today. All right.
Yeah. So, anywho, moving back to setting your goals, I think a lot of people set goals, and you guys are super great at making really high expectations. I think I'm getting pretty good at that too, but I think a lot of people have goals. I'm going to go to the gym twice a week, and they can't even make that happen. How much of that do you think is, number one, they don't set their goal high enough, so it's like it's not even that motivating or exciting to reach that goal.
That's interesting. I mean, I've always felt that they need to be lofty, but they need to be achievable, your goals. If you're 300 pounds and you say you're going to lose 100 pounds by the end of the month, that's probably an unachievable goal, right? But at the same time, making them so that it's not a cakewalk either. So I think 2 days a week is maybe too easy and isn't motivating enough. Maybe 5 days a week would be a more appropriate level.
Yeah, I think you can get lulled into a sense of if it's like, I'm going to eat, one less bad thing for me a day. I think a lot of times, it's easy a weekend to just be like, might as well. It's not that big a difference, right?
Right.
So that could potentially be part of it. So, we see a lot of value in setting high goals. But then just moving on, I think the main thing that's always the breakdown for people is they understand the result, but they hate the process and doing the work.
Right, especially if they've, just to talk about 2016, they've been stuck in the same rut and the same routine, and that you've done something for 12 months and now you're trying to break that routine in the first 2 weeks or 30 days, your chance of really failure is 99%. So that's why I see this meme a lot about New Year's. It's basically a picture of Morpheus from The Matrix and says, what if I told you that you didn't have to wait till New Year's to make a positive change in your life? and it makes me laugh because it's true. It's like the New Year's is a good benchmark, but to me, I had the same goals and I'm going to be having the same goals. I wasn't waiting for December 31st, 2016. I'm like, okay, on the 1st, I'm going to be doing this. I was always about that in 2016 and before. So it's just about having those things set right now and build all that momentum up. So even next year, it'll be even better. But like I said, right now, I think you should focus and start small to build momentum so you don't fall, behind even more in the first 30 days where you're just overwhelmed and it's so hard to get rid of all those bad habits that you had in 2016 the entire year.
Yeah, I think it's pretty simple. You get a choice, and now we have a choice in a widely accepted way to make changes in your life, which is New Year's. That's the only significance of it. It's kind of the holiday of reinventing yourself. So you get to decide, are you going to be the person who follows through with what you want to get out of life or not? There's two doors. And to quote the great Grant Cardone, pick a door, bitch.
What was the quote? I couldn't hear
Pick a door, bitch.
Pick a door, bitch. Don't be a bitch. All that stuff. But I was actually going to ask our host here, Daniel, what one goal that you set is or was for your 2017 and what you are doing, or some advice that you can give to our listeners that you're doing in order to achieve them.
Yeah, so my goal this year is to grow my business. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get into too many details of what the specific numbers that I'm looking to do are, but a big part of what I want to do is have a large social media presence. So I have a pretty defined plan of how I want to do that. I know what sort of content I want to create and how I want to push that and make that move forward. So what I need to do is set up some infrastructure. I need to have a website. We need to have somebody who can edit and manage all these videos. So far, those steps are in place. The website will be improved. I
can attest to that. He's already engaged me, today and a couple days prior to get things moving, and already taking a leap to make that happen.
Yeah, and
so you took action.
I took action.
You listened to
exactly.
the podcast on action, and you took it.
I did. I listened to us talking and did that. Yeah, but no. And the other thing about it is part of you as the CEO of VSM, you have a lot of plates that you're spinning at the same time, just as Ryan does as a co-owner of it.
Yep.
So a lot of these things, if I have a personal goal or a goal that I think is going to move forward the company, you need to be persistent with it, because again, I am asking you for your help and your guidance on getting all of this stuff done, and I'm not asking you, and then if you're busy and not doing something, just letting it go. I'm continuing to bother you about it because it's important to me. And in turn, I think, from someone who's a business owner, if someone who works for them is bothering them to try and grow their business, and in turn, your business, that's a positive. Like, I don't think you're like, oh.
Right. It's a huge positive and a plus. One thing to note and to mention is that, you set this goal and you're like, hey, I want to create this website, which is fine. And we talked about that. But one thing that I really that I like that most people don't do is really just set something that, that you can measure the success level. And you were like, hey, how soon can we get this done? 4, 5 days, 10 days. Now we have a date. How much is going to cost? We have a hard number. So we have these metrics that we can put in place in order to achieve those goals, which is super important. And it's a far, you're taking way more serious than just dropping into my office, not going to say, hey, I need a website. Let me know. See ya.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of being like, hey, I want to make more money. Like, great.
Yeah.
Me too.
Right, exactly. So I think that's kind of something that you did just recently, which a lot of people that are listening that could apply. Just go a little step further. When you say whatever your goal is, okay, put something in place. A lot of people are talking about working out, and a gym gets busy. If you're just going, I'm going to get healthy, but what does that really mean? I think you should maybe say, hey, I want to be able to run 10 miles. Okay, and train towards that goal, or I want to be able to, weigh X amount of pounds, whatever it is. So, a lot of people make those healthy living lifestyle goals, but what do they really mean? Be more precise and exact.
Yeah, I think the more specific your goal is, the more measurable it is. That's one of the reasons I think that New Year's is so popular for goals, because it's easy to quantify, like an earnings for the year, or this kind of growth or that. And whether it be fitness, I want to lose this many pounds or whatever. I mean, I came into the year with professional goals for each of the businesses, a fitness goal, as well as a personal improvement goal. Things that, I reached out to people whose opinion I trusted, asked them what things I could work on. And, I wrote it all down. I have a whiteboard that's 2-3 feet tall and 2 feet wide, and it's just filled with goals for the whole year. And I see it every day. So.
Right. Yeah. It's got to, to have a goal, you got to have some kind of a measuring stick. You as a human being can get off track, rather
easily.
Quickly and easily. So you want to have that, always staring you down and making you accountable to take those actions and take the steps necessary to achieve it.
Definitely. So, Ryan, when you compare yourself to the average person who doesn't have the drive to be able to accomplish their goals and stick with their New Year's resolutions, what do you think, besides just the specific, being more specific, setting deadlines for yourself on your resolutions, how are you able to achieve them when others aren't?
I think it has a lot to do with my personality type. I'm very accomplishment oriented. I like to have little checklist of things that I wanted to do and accomplish, and I get a lot of satisfaction from that. I have extremely lofty expectations for myself and those around me, as you know.
I do.
So I think it's just that hunger, that desire is really the main thing. It's not that I want to do these things, it's I need to do them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
one thing I was going to just add real quick to the whole workout deal. And obviously I try to go gym, probably every other day, and I've been going for many years, and I can see that by, awesomeness of Facebook tracking and, hey, look at this photo from 4 years ago. But a lot of people go in there, let's say you're not a super, like a physically fit person, and you have this goal, okay, I'm going to go from being fat, borderline obese to a 6-pack in 6 months, something unrealistic. And it's so much easier to hit that wall and then give up. When I first started working out many years ago, I considered myself overweight. And the first thing that I said, I was like, I'm not going to just go to be a bodybuilder. I'm just going to see if I can consistently go to a gym every single day, 5 days a week for the next 30, 45 days. I'm not even going to worry about like any body part. I'm going to see if I can make it to the gym and hold myself accountable to just showing up. Mm-hmm. And when that happens, that's one win. And then you build on to the next one and the next one. That's when you can actually build it. Okay, I'm going to be working on my 6-pack or whatever else it is.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. Some people have the ability to say, And I think you may actually be one of the specific instances of someone who I know could be like, I'm going to make $1 billion, and that's your goal. Mm-hmm. And you're going to create the little goals for yourself along the way. But having that end vision is like enough to keep you driving and pushing forward, where I think a lot of times, you know, you got to figure out what kind of person you are. But, you know, sometimes it's better to move those goalposts a little bit closer. And then once you get there, move it back. Keep moving it back. And that was a sports analogy.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I like
your third one since I've known you. Congratulations.
I think the bigger and the loftier your goal, or maybe the further away you are from it, you know, in years, for example, maybe it's a 5, 10, 15, 20-year goal. It's good to have those wins and then break it up into a bunch of little parts, because the motivation along the way is going to be key. Sometimes you're not going to have the people around you or the partnerships or whatnot. Maybe you're going to be on your own, and you're going to need those wins. So it worked well for me, and I keep kind of trying to do those things.
Yeah.
So I think concentrating on small wins, but having the big picture in place is going to be key to keeping your New Year's resolution intact and actually following through with it this year.
Yeah. One of the things we had our meeting today, and one of the things that I told all of our agents about, you know, because we, again, all outlined our goals, and a lot of them were things that are out of their comfort zone and, you know, somewhat more of a monotonous task of reaching out to people and trying to generate business. But if you do what you're supposed to do, you know, don't think of it necessarily as something that you need to do for the rest of your life. Keep it short. I told them, I'm like, hey, if you make these cold calls and you reach out to people for 6 months, it's going to change your life moving forward. No matter what. If you just commit to whatever your quota is that you set for yourself, it'll only take you 6 months to see a noticeable difference that's going to change your quality of life. And you can decide from that point what you want to do with that momentum and how you want to move forward. But if you can't commit to it, you're never going to know what type of results you can get. You're never going to feel any of that success. So don't worry about it in the long term. Your goals can change, but the thing that you know you need to do, and if you can give yourself that advice and other people are giving you that advice, lock it in, commit to it, and do it for the prescribed amount of time that you need to, and then you can decide from there. But don't be afraid. Don't give up on your goals, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.